Hello and welcome. This is Sports Debate, where we give you a platform to place your mouth where your passion is, to show off your sport knowledge, and all arguments are spot on. I am Solomon Ajiziogu. It is often said that the senior national football team should parade the best players a country has on offer at any given time. For this, the manager of the team would call up players based on their performances in their clubs at the highest level available. But for all his club prowess at Feyenoord Rotterdam, Mike Obiku played for Nigeria just 5 times. Some others differ in this argument, saying it is not just the performance that should determine invitation to the national team. With players in Europe and the domestic league, we have seen coaches invite players from countries not known for outstanding football performances like Bangladesh and India to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They say players should fit into the philosophy and the plan of the coach to be called up. In 1998, coach Aimé Jacquet refused to invite 2 of the best French players, Eric Cantona and David Ginola, and France went on to win the FIFA World Cup on home soil. Recently, Nigeria lost in a competitive match to South Africa, despite fielding some of her youngest foreign-born players. Cameroon won the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations, despite not having some of her best players in Europe, who opted not to play for the indomitable Lions. So we ask, is form enough for national team call-up? That's our topic today. You can join the discussion at Sporting Solo TVC or at TVC News NG, or better still, at TVC Connect. Hashtag TVC Sports Debate. Joining me on the debate podium today are 2 gentlemen. You know, on Sports Debate, we always have gentlemen. Charles Ogundiya is appearing for the first time. Good to have you join us, Charles.
Thank you, Solomon. It's nice to be here today.
And he's up against a regular face on Sports Debate, Ibukun Aluko.
Sporting Solo is always good to be back, and it's good to see your face once again.
It's good to see my face and to know that you are up against Charles Ogundiya.
On his debut, so I'll just take it easy with him.
Right. Is form enough? You're of the opinion that form is the only thing.
Sure.
Why should it be? When we have seen the Super Eagles win the Nations Cup with Emeka Ezeogo from either India or Bangladesh, and then we had a Chima Okorie who also played for Super Eagles under Clemens Vestergaard. You've seen a situation where Cameroon won the Nations Cup, and all their best, some of their best players who were invited chose not to play. Cameroon still won.
Well, Solomon, I think you are getting it wrong. Form is even from bringing in big players. You mentioned players that opted out. The players that were invited, they were in good form. The players that were invited, they play week in, week out for their club side. Let's make Nigerian national team as an example. In recent years, you ask yourself why we've not been able to achieve a lot. It is because we invite players that don't really play regularly for their club side. Players that feel that whatever happens, they always get automatic shirts in the national team. Remember this same team won 2013 Nations Cup, and you ask yourself, who are the players that actually played for Nigeria then? They were players that were really in form. They were players that they did well in the NPF, and also players that plays abroad, that they play for their club side week in, week out. But it is not the same now. You ask yourself, players like Ogeyonazi, they don't care if they play for their club side. Players like Kelechi Iheanacho that gets little playing time, coming to square up against a South African side that plays week in, week out. You could see in that game that it was obvious that these guys are not tactically and technically fit. And for you to be technically fit, you need to be playing for your club side week in, week out. So on this basis, I'm telling you that, see, if you are not in form, then you shouldn't be called up to the national team, regardless of your position in the team. Let's take, France national team, Brazil national team, for example. Paulinho always gets an invite from China. Why? It is because he plays week in, week out, and he's performing well. So it's not about how big you are. If you are big and you sit on the bench, why then would you come to the national team? Come on, it's for people that play week in, week out, and that's how it should be.
Seriously, Solomon, I just have to disagree with what you have been saying. Look at some of these players that we are talking about. Let's take example of our captain, Mikel Obi. Mikel Obi was out of Chelsea team for a very long time, but anytime he comes around, he plays very well for the national team. You will look at the situation whereby...
He plays very well.
Yes, he plays very well for the national team.
Okay.
He plays very well for the national team when it comes around. Mikel lost out of the team, as in the Chelsea team, because he came to play for Nigeria at the Olympics. That was the main reason why he was left out of the team. And anytime he was called upon, we can see we missed him against South Africa. We missed his leadership against South Africa. We missed his kind of coordination in that middle against South Africa. That's why it's one of the reasons why we lost against South Africa. If you look at some of these players you are just mentioning, you can't really blame them about not coming to perform well when it comes to the national team. How many periods they train together when they come to the national team? When they comes in on Monday, on Sunday, on Monday, they play on Saturday, they will get to Abuja maybe on Monday, on Tuesday, then travel.
The Germans, how many periods did they train together?
No. When you're talking about
see, Nigeria lost to South Africa not because Mikel wasn't invited.
It's part
it was
of
because the players that played,
Mikel was invited.
The players that played are players that sit on the bench for their club side.
They are not.
Let me start mentioning. Let me start from the attack.
Wait.
Let me start from the attack. You mentioned Iheanacho. You mentioned Alex Iwobi.
Let's do it this way.
You mentioned Ogenye Onazi.
Let's do it this way.
The only player that sees regular is in the D.
Iheanacho,
What's your point?
You say they are not playing regularly for their club, but before the time against South Africa, a player like Alex Iwobi was playing virtually week in, week out, even sometimes twice in a week for his club. But there is no way a player playing like that will not lose out of steam. That's just the point.
You cannot be a coach. You cannot. Okay, why has Nigeria not performed so well, even after bringing in big names?
In 1994, we won the AFCON, and we have a player like Eguavoin. Austin Eguavoin. He doesn't even have a club then. And he was part of the player that gave us that championship. So if you're talking about just playing for your club, playing week in, week out, then for the national team, you're talking about this player playing in German team. In Germany, you can travel.
See, this is 2017.
Yes.
You are mentioning 1994.
I just used that as an example.
When 1994, there were few African countries that could match Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana. But now, you will be shocked that you will go to Zambia, you will go to Tanzania, and you won't be able to win.
But see, seriously.
It shows that there is development in football.
Fine, there is development in football. But this player, how many times did they train together?
Look at the game against South Africa.
Against Benin Republic. Against Benin Republic, we lost. This chance we lost against Benin Republic. But look at all the players that were invited. They are best of the best.
That one is different.
No. There's no difference. We're just talking about the best playing week in, week out. These people play week in, week out for their clubs in Nigeria. But they were not be able to beat a Benin Republic that didn't play for a whole year.
Do you know why they lost?
They don't have a season for a whole year. Why?
How many times did they train together?
But no, you just mentioning. I say the same thing affects some of these players that comes from the national team. It's part of it.
How is it part of it?
You said this player many times they play together.
Brazilians, when they get invited to the national team, some of them come from Europe, some of them from South America, some of them from far Asia.
But do you know the way they travel? Do you know the way they travel? It's not like Nigeria that will travel with camp in Abuja, then play in New York.
That's not the point.
They move straight to where they will play. That's just it.
Is that why Nigeria should lose to Tanzania?
That's what I'm telling you now.
It is not by form.
It depends on your performance when you come to the national team. You might not be playing for your club. You might not be playing regularly for your club. And still come to the national team and still give your best for the national team. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But South African players, if you match them individually compared to the Super Eagles, they are nothing compared to those guys.
But do you know that the South African team you are talking about even came to camp 2 days before coming to Nigeria?
What made them play us so hard like that?
They came to camp 2 days before coming to Nigeria.
That's not the point.
And you can't say this is a new team.
These guys play
because they have the they want to beat Nigeria.
Does playing regularly, week in, week out for your team constitute form?
Yes, Solomon.
How does it constitute
form?
Solomon,
the thing is, they say practice makes perfect. It is better for me to play for a club in the championship week in, week out, and for me to be in a Manchester City team, sit on the bench and maybe play 4 games in a season. Number 1, your market value will drop. Number 2, your form will drop. Number 3, it will be so difficult for you to get
one thing you are not getting.
Let me make my point.
You
the only reason Nigeria, the only reason these guys are very sure that they will get the call up is that our national team is not competitive compared to them.
Do you think these players?
Our national team is not competitive.
Do you think these players are not ready to play for their club? Do you think they don't train day in, day out with their club? These players train virtually every day with their club. Yes, fine. It's even from football. But you can even
training see, let me tell you one thing about training.
You mentioned Ogeyo.
What about training?
Ogeyo
there is a whole lot hidden in training. Training, you don't get tackled as you should get tackled in a game. Training, you don't get stressed as you should get stressed in a game.
Fine.
So you cannot compare training
but
to
you are saying,
to
like
a game.
I was trying to give you an example about the Benin Republic.
Has Morata been in form? Morata doesn't get enough playing time. But was he in form for Madrid? Was he in form for Juventus? Giroud has not been getting enough playing time in Arsenal. But every time he comes, he scores. Was he in form?
Does Morata start for Spain? That's my question.
Okay.
The question is form. What
I am
about
form? Yes,
he scores goals. He came in as a Chelsea player in the opening week, and he did what? He scored.
Solomon.
Giroud plays from the bench. He scores.
He scored. He came from the bench. He changed the game.
Bench is different from bench.
It's the same player that trained that you say you have not been playing.
Bench.
Do you know how many goals Morata contributed to Man City coming from the bench?
Morata got reasonable playing time at Madrid last season.
No.
All right. I will hold you down.
And again,
it
shows that his form has affected his position in the national team.
All right.
He doesn't start for Spain.
All right. This is sports debate. And the topic we are looking at today is, should form be enough reason to invite a player to the national team? Ibukun Aluko says absolutely form should be the only consideration. But Charles Ogundiya here disagrees. He says, no, form is not the only thing. And we had made reference to the point that in 1998, France won the Nations Cup the World Cup on home soil without two of their best players, Eric Cantona and David Ginola. Cameroon won the African Nations Cup this year, 2017, without their best players, some of their best players who opted not to play. So what do you think? Do you think form should be the prime consideration, the only consideration actually, for inviting players to the national team? You can be part of our discussion by sending your tweets to me at Sporting Solo TVC or at TVC News NG, or better still, at TVC Connect, hashtag TVC Sports Debate. It is still Sports Debate with me, Solomon Ajisiogu. And the topic we're looking at today is, should form, the player's form, be the only or enough reason to invite them to the national team? Ibukun Aluko here says absolutely that form should be the only consideration. But Charles Ogundiya disagrees. He says that should not be the only consideration. But what do you think? Do you think form should be the only consideration for inviting players to the national team? You can be part of our discussion by sending your tweets to me at Sporting Solo TVC or at TVC News NG. Or better still, you can send it to TVC Connect, hashtag TVC Sports Debate. So you were saying something about Morata and that he was not getting enough playing time in Madrid, and so it affected his national team call-up.
Yes.
Does that mean he wasn't in form?
Well, Solomon.
Because he scored 20 goals, despite the fact that he came in as a sub most of the time.
Solomon, you need to ask yourself, getting playing time works hand in hand with form.
Kelechi Iheanacho scored the highest number of goals per minute in the English Premier League.
Let's say, Sporting Solo, anybody can do that. That's the truth. Anybody can.
So if you are not informed, you can do that.
You ask yourself, when you watch the goals, you know that it wasn't really spectacular. Most of those goals were tap-ins. So
that's like Filippo Inzaghi was not during his playing days was not spectacular.
I'm not trying to disrespect Kelechi's brilliance.
Yeah, okay.
I'm only saying that because he has that good ratio doesn't mean he's in good form.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Okay, Stephen Ode does not deserve a place in the national team as well.
Let me give you another example of a player. Odion Ighalo was scoring the goals for Watford. But how many goals has he scored for the national team during his time coming to the national team? If you are talking about form, Odion Ighalo will not. How many goals has he contributed to the team? Brian Ideye was scoring for his club. Yeah. Fine. He was playing for the club, for the likes of Olympiacos and co. And he was scoring goals. How many goals did he score for the national team?
That's the same thing I'm
so
telling you.
So if you're talking about form, when he was informed.
The problem
when he was invited to the national team, he was not giving us the goals.
Let me now analyze it. Let me tell you. Let me explain it to you. Solomon, I play week in, week out for my club side. I was invited to the national team. And I met a series of players that only get 2 to 3 minutes of game
like Kelechi Iheanacho, who scored in Zambia for Nigeria.
Scored in Zambia, scored against Algeria, scored in friendly matches played.
Bad form will always affect good form. That is the truth. When if you want
confused?
But another player came in and played with this same set of players and scored goals.
See, if you want everything to go well, there has to be cohesion and chemistry in the team. And for that to be, everyone has to be in the same mentality, the same good form.
Okay.
What is form?
You're talking about form. You're talking about form now.
Yeah.
You're talking about this player not playing for their club. Even the players that are playing for their club, if you didn't train well with your teammates in the national team, how will you score the goals?
Solomon, if you don't get playing time, how do you want to be in form?
Okay,
it's the same thing.
How did
form is number one.
At some point, Stephen Keshi was unattached.
Solomon,
and the coach said he would prefer to play a
form is not all about statistics.
They say form is temporary.
No.
Class is permanent.
Solomon. Form also entails how fit you are.
So if Cristiano Ronaldo is not in form, you will not play him.
How fit you are, and if he's not in form, that is why you can see Zidane is telling him that as he doesn't want him to lose his form. He doesn't want him to lose his form. That's why at times he tells him, you cannot play the whole 90 minutes.
Do you know that Cristiano Ronaldo is on 5-match ban now?
If he should lose his form, let me tell you, if he should lose his form, then it will affect the team a lot.
Ronaldo is on 5-match ban, but let me tell you one thing point blank. He will return to that first team. He will return to that first team immediately he finishes my 5-match ban. Because
so does that mean that not playing keeps him out of
as a player, you don't just because you don't play. That
means there's always an exception. I think you know that. That's the truth. For every
Ronaldo is a different species entirely.
It's just like when I was in school too. There are some people that when they don't go to library as much as you go. Are you getting me? But when it's time for exam, they get A's and you start looking at yourself as if what is really wrong with you. And that is exactly what is happening in the world of football too.
Okay.
There are some players that they are not good enough for them not to get playing time in their respective clubs.
No. Sometimes you don't know. Okay. Are you telling me that Costa is not good enough to have a playing shirt in Chelsea for the coach to send a text message to him that you are not in my plan?
You are bringing in another issue.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that because
that one is attitude.
No, see, it's because
every coach, any coach that has problem with Costa, it's not because of his prowess on the field.
I'm linking that to Mikel Obi.
Right.
Mikel Obi lost out in Chelsea because the coach asked him not to play for the Nigeria team at the Olympics. And he decided to come and play.
See, you ask yourself, everybody cannot be like Mikel in the national team.
Oh, but you said Mikel because he's not playing for Chelsea, should not be invited?
I never said so.
No, that's not what we're saying.
No,
that's what we're saying.
Then I brought
because you have equated playing time to form.
So now I've brought an exception.
Giroud scores goals.
Giroud
each time he comes from the bench.
Now I've brought in exceptions. I told you that. Everybody they cannot be on the same level. That is why we are having problems in our national team.
That's exactly why we are having this topic. You are saying absolutely form. Now you are saying exception.
Giroud will come here ahead of Benzema for France national team.
Form will go ahead any day, anytime. Form will be of advantage any day, anytime. But this thing is, there are some players that, regardless of you don't understand when I mean form. It doesn't mean they are really bad, but they keep themselves fit.
They are not
when they
really,
get the chance,
okay,
they keep themselves very
Brown
fit.
in the year is fit.
When they get
He's
the
always
chance.
fit. He plays all the time.
When it comes to the national team, what does
he doesn't score.
Brown does well.
How many goals has he scored for the national team as a striker?
Didn't you watch the Nations Cup 2013? You didn't watch the 2013
I
Nations
was there
Cup?
live. I was there at the competition.
And you're coming out to tell me, is it about goals? Is it only about goals?
As a striker, it's about goal for you.
That's a lie. Let me tell you, Solomon. As a striker, there are some strikers that, see, Solomon, there are some strikers that they don't really score goals, but they have good link-up.
So why did you call them
listen
striker?
to me. Let me make my point. But they have Solomon.
Was scoring.
They have good link-up play.
At some point, Ikechukwu Uche was the best striker in the Super Eagles.
Okay.
But Stephen Keshi said, no, he's not my striker.
That is just it.
Solomon,
so what are you now saying?
Solomon, the thing is, you ask yourself, it is not about what happened to Ikechukwu Uche. It is about the relationship between himself and the coach. That's what you should look at first.
But the team won the Nations Cup.
But they won Nations Cup with players that were informed.
No. Wait. Tell
me one player that was not informed in that squad.
When last did Sunday Umba play for his club before they joined? Sunday Umba? Yes.
Sunday Umba was regular.
No.
Sunday Umba.
He lost out from the club because he was not even part of the team for almost more than a month.
Sunday Umba was regular.
See, let me tell you one thing.
Brown there was one of the revelations of that 2020 Nations Cup. He had good link-up play with Emenike. You didn't watch it. I'm surprised.
I was there live.
Then
that's what I'm telling you.
You're not watching the game.
You said as a striker.
You're not watching the game.
As a striker.
Yes.
Your job is to score goal. Fine, he was creating assists for this. But do you know what other people?
How many goals does Benzema scores for Madrid compared to Ronaldo?
Benzema but
why does he start?
Why does he start?
Yes.
Because of his performance on. That's what I'm saying.
He has good link-up play. That's what I'm saying. As a striker, that's exactly what he does.
As a striker, when you give your team,
he is the kind of striker that he holds on to the ball.
Okay, what do you want to say about
the other striker to move?
Ojo Ighalo that starts every time for the national team, but he doesn't score. He starts up front, he plays up front. The same position he plays for his club.
Same thing I told you.
So
they are bringing in. There are bad eggs in the national team.
Why would
there are bad eggs in
play? Why would how do
you expect him to do well with players that don't get playing time, that are not informed in the national team? How do you expect him to do well? How does he get the services?
Do you know how many opportunities Ojo Ighalo wasted with when he played with the national team?
How many chances does Nigeria create? Ask yourself. You are just coming here to bring in wrong stuff. How many chances does Nigeria create? Is it Onazi that wants to create chance? Is it Onazi that wants to create chance?
Mike doesn't create chance.
You can only mention Mikel. Mention another person.
Okay.
Mention another person.
Said Mikel.
Mention another midfielder. Mention another midfielder.
What about Elderson Echejile?
Onazi will not play well.
What about Elderson Echejile?
What happened to Echejile?
At the time Elderson Echejile was played for Nigeria at the Nations Cup, where Nigeria won, what was his playing time in his club? Well, at Sporting Braga, what was his playing time?
Solomon,
what was his performance? His performance?
He was getting the same playing.
If he was getting playing time, what was his performance?
Solomon, he was getting the same playing time, and he was really good to go that time.
I will give you another example.
Solomon, go and check it. Solomon, go and check it.
Was at 2013 AFCON.
Yeah.
He was so good with his club, Celtic, that he was flown down to London that night after our match because they want to play Champions League the following day because they believe this is their best player. But look at his performance with sometimes with the national team. People complain about his performance with the national team sometimes, and he played very. I'm not saying he's bad.
He was one of the biggest players in
Celtic. No, it is because now
the biggest
he lost form.
Really about that form that you're talking about.
That is why you're talking
when you come to the national team, even at your club, it's not about your form might not even allow you to. Sometimes they will not look at your form to play you in the national team in your club.
That notion is very wrong.
Look, let me give you an example of Peter Cech and Ospina.
Gentlemen, round off now. Your closing remark.
Seriously, for me, what a player can give to the national team should be the basis of their invitation.
That's deep.
Solomon, if I am a coach, fine, there is an exception to everything, and I respect that. The likes of Mikel, regardless of their form, they can be called up because of their individual brilliance. But you ask yourself, if the guys are informed, the guys that play for their clubs week in, week out, is it not bad for them to play with guys that don't really get playing time in their club side. It will definitely affect their performance, and that's why I can mention Igalo.
Okay.
So for me, I think form should be the first thing first for you to get invitation to the national team, and that's why I have to give it to Paulinho of Brazil.
Well, you have had our gladiators today. Ibukwan Luko here says form. Well, he moved from form should be the absolute reason to invite a player now to form should be the most important. Meaning that he considered that at some point there are other considerations. But Charles Ogundiya here says that a player should be invited to the national team based on what he can offer the team. Not necessarily because he's doing all the scoring in his club.
Of course.
Because we have seen players who have been playing well for their clubs who haven't played well for the national team. The topic has been, should form be enough to invite a player for the national team? Ibukun says, absolutely. Or now he says, the important consideration. But Charles refuses, saying, no, there is more to inviting players to the national team than just form. But what do you think? You can be part of our discussion by sending your contributions to me here at Sporting Solo TVC or at TVC News NG, or better still, at TVC Connect, #TVC Sports Debate. Until we come your way again next time, enjoy the rest of your day.